Steve Irvin.
And I'm Katie Randall. Officers fired after being involved in controversial incidents that sparked national outrage. One happened back in May when officers responded to a shoplifting call. A man handcuffed up against a police car, his legs swept out from under him, all while a gun was pointed at his pregnant fiancée and young children.
The other incident involving social media posts that were viewed as offensive, racially biased, and violent. Those posts were outlined in the Plainview Project, and let's get right out to our Carla Navarrete with more details on what happened today.
With the chief of police sending a message out to the community that she will not tolerate actions like those of the officers on that May 27th incident, in which they are seen yelling profanities at a pregnant mother and also drawing their weapons. Police Chief Williams today saying the internal investigation into two officers involved in that May 27th incident that captured national attention, Officer Christopher Meyer and the other officer, those investigations have been finalized. The second officer, the Disciplinary Review Board, or what is referred to as the DRB, gave that second officer a written reprimand, but for Officer Christopher Meyer, her decision was very different.
The DRB recommended the second officer receive a 6-week unpaid suspension, but the decision on discipline is mine. And after meeting with Officer Chris Meyer personally and considering all the facts of the case, I have notified him of my intention to terminate his employment.
The other case Chief Williams addressed today, social media posts by officers that came to light in the summer of this year. 72 officers were investigated, and out of the 72, Detective David Swick was terminated. Again, Chief Williams going further than what the review board recommended.
Of the remaining 11, Detective Dave Swick has been advised that I will terminate his employment. 1 received a 40-hour suspension, 4 received 24-hour suspensions, 4 received 8-hour suspensions, and there is still 1 case remaining that has yet to be finalized.
It is important to mention that while the review board makes recommendations, it is ultimately up to the chief what disciplinary action is taken. For now, reporting in downtown, I'm Carla Navarrete, ABC 15 News, Arizona.
An arrest in Fort Worth, Texas. The video shows officers struggling to arrest 35-year-old Forrest Curry. A warning, the video you're about to see may be disturbing. CBS News correspondent David Begnaud joins me now from Arlington, Texas. David, walk us through this video, if you will.
So the video starts with Forrest Curry, the man who is the subject, the suspect in this case, running. So the first video we were shown shows him running as a police officer is pursuing him. Then the body camera footage shows him face down on the ground. His face is in dirty water, and officers are on his back. And for nearly 5 minutes, it appears as though Mr. Curry is resisting, and albeit very strongly. His hands are clasped together. He is not cooperating with the commands of officers who are telling him to put his hands behind his back. At one point, there are 5 grown men on top of Mr. Curry, and for nearly 5 minutes, they insist that he put his hands behind his back. He refuses to, and so at one point, one of the officers hits Mr. Curry 4 times with what appears to be a closed fist. Another officer uses his knee to knee Mr. Curry at least twice. That's what the video shows from what we saw today, body camera footage provided by the Fort Worth Police Department.
And so how did this all start? Why was he being detained?
So he was being detained because initially a call came in to the Fort Worth Fire Department that there were 2 men in an apartment complex around the city, and they were passed out. In fact, the caller thought they might be dead. So the fire department responds. There was also a call of a man who was having seizures and convulsions.